Happy Horror Days, Nightlings. Welcome to episode 18 of the Horror Headquarters. I am in surprisingly a very good mood today. I'm not sure why, but I just feel very excited to be recording this episode for you guys. Today is going to be a very special one. It's going to be a little bit different than all the other ones I've done because it's going to include a compilation of Christmas movies that I really enjoy to watch at this time, and they also have horror aspects to them, of course. So I am very excited to get into it, but I just want to start by saying if you guys are new here, welcome, welcome, welcome. My name is Hassan Shamu. I am 22 years old and I am a university student and I love horror. So that's what this whole shebang is. That's what I do. I love this channel. I started this in August. Became obsessed with it. Yeah. I'm very weird. I am very eccentric. I'm very outgoing. I'm filled with a lot of energy. And I don't know. I just enjoy what I do, and I'm happy you guys are here listening. Please, please, please consider hitting that follow button and subscribing to us. It's completely free. And of course, we also have an Instagram at the Horror Headquarters, as well as Twitter at the Horror HQ. Those are both linked in the description below, but please consider following us. I am so excited for you guys to join us on this journey, and let's go right into it. So as I said in the beginning of this episode is that this one's going to be a little bit different. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be giving you guys 4 of my favorite Christmas horror films, and then as well as a couple that I'm interested in watching this holiday season. So just to like throw in, a little bit of diversity, I guess you can call it. But I'm excited to talk to you guys a little bit about these 4 different movies. Now, you guys might think, oh, that's not a scary movie, or no, come on, that's like a funny movie. I'm picking these based on me watching them growing up, being terrified of them, and they have a Christmas aspect to them, or they're just horrifying in one way or the other. And you'll figure out what I mean by that. And we're gonna start off strong with an amazing film called The Nightmare Before Christmas. Now we're gonna throw it back to when I was about 8 years old, and I was absolutely terrified of this movie, even though I hadn't watched it, and I'm gonna tell you why. I was terrified by the soundtrack of this movie. Now don't get me wrong, today I love this movie. I am obsessed with it, it is just so good, I love the soundtrack now, but as a kid, hearing the soundtrack gave me nightmares, and I remember the first time I heard it was on a Just Dance game on the Wii. If you guys know what the Wii is, then you're kind of in the same generation as me. If not, you have no idea what I'm talking about. But it was on Just Dance, I think 2013 or 2014 game, and it was always on like the lineup, and I would always skip over it very quickly because it would give me nightmares. Just the this is Halloween sound scared me, and it was not pleasant, and I have restricted myself from watching that movie all the way up until about a year ago. Now, I'm gonna get attacked for saying that because I hadn't watched it until I was about 21. But I do. I regret it. I regret it. But I have to tell myself it's better late than never because I feel like as a kid I wouldn't have enjoyed it as much as I do right now because it's definitely gonna be on replay for the rest of my life, and the soundtrack I am now obsessed with, so it kind of makes up for it. Now the movie itself does have some horror aspects to it. I guess you could say obviously it's all fake. I mean as all movies are, but something that like I was like so creeped out by was when Jack Skeleton was delivering presents as Santa, and he was like delivering all this like horrid stuff to kids, and it wasn't even the kids that ended up like passing out or anything, it was the parents. It's kind of funny but terrifying at the same time because you think the kids are dead, but it's actually the parents that passed out. So it's really ironic in a way. But you know what? I love it, but definitely very horrid and disgusting. But watching this film for the first time when the music kicked in, I'm like, oh my god, this is what this song is from. That's another thing. I didn't know that that song was from The Nightmare Before Christmas. I just knew it was called This Is Halloween, and then I watched The Nightmare Before Christmas, and it was like in the beginning of the movie, and I'm like, oh my god, it's from this movie. And I like started freaking out in like a really weird way because I had never heard it all the way through, obviously, because I wouldn't want to listen to it all the way through because I was scared of it. But I like started freaking out and like clapping. I'm like, oh my god, this is gonna be such a good movie. So yeah, that's the story about The Nightmare Before Christmas. You guys are probably listening to me like, oh my god, it's not even a scary movie. Alright, I'm moving to like an easy scary movie that I consider scary, and a lot of people as kids consider scary, but I still consider it kind of scary today, and I'm embarrassed to say that a little bit. But you know what? I'm gonna go right into it. I'm gonna say it. Home Alone. Okay, now you guys can attack me all you want, but this film had so many scary aspects to it. We have the Shovel Slayer, apparently, that Buzz talks about. We have the basement, which I'm still terrified of till this day. I hated a basement as a kid, and I still hate it now, and like that's where the furnace is, like all this creepy ass shit. And nope, nope, nope. I don't do it. I don't do it. It's way too damn dark down there, and I'm always running up those damn stairs like it's the end of my life if I don't get to the top at a certain time. So yeah, Home Alone. I watched it. I think the first time I was 5 or 6 years old. And I remember I would always, I mean, obviously after I watched it the first and second time, I'd always make my mom skip the basement scene because it would always scare me. But the first time I watched it, when the basement scene came up, I can't believe I still remember this. I was in my basement as I was watching it, like with my family and everything, and we had like this wooden table and just regular couches, and the TV was like propped up on another wooden table as well, just sitting in the back, and this creepy music starts playing, and I'm like, oh god, what's happening right now? I don't like this. And then the freaking furnace started talking, and my brother jokingly said it's gonna come get you. And obviously, as a 5-year-old, I'm gonna believe that, or in some way, I'm gonna believe it. Freaked out, jumped on the wooden table, and like ran away into the bathroom. And the reason I bring up the wooden table is because I ended up chipping a piece of like the edge because it was like curved at the edge. I ended up, you know, breaking it a little bit, which was kind of embarrassing. But it's crazy I still remember that. That literally just came to me. But I keep saying but. I'm sorry. You know what? I do this a lot. What do you want me to do? But besides that, I mean, obviously the basement scares everyone. It even scared my mom. So you know what? You guys can go away if you guys don't think it's a scary movie. The shovel guy, forgot what his name was, and I kind of feel bad that I forgot what his name is. Um, I'm trying to remember what Buzz said. Like when he was bringing up the story, he like made up all those lies about the Shovel Slayer and everything. That's what the name is, the South Bend Shovel Slayer. I had to search it up because I forgot, I'm sorry. But the story that Buzz made up is that he murdered his entire family in the block back in 58 with a snow shovel. And then they said there wasn't enough evidence to convict him because they never found the bodies. But everyone knows that he did it. And he's like, but now it's just a matter of time before he does it again. And basically, the bucket of salt that he uses to like salt everything, he's like, that's where he keeps his victims. The salt turns the bodies into mummies. I believe that as a kid. I did. I thought it was true. I mean, it's funny now, but I remember every time my dad would salt like the sidewalk or anything, I think that there was a dead body inside. It's really weird. I had a really weird childhood. Don't even get me started on that. But that part scared me because like throughout the film, like he's in a hardware store and he has like a bloody hand. He like plows it on the table next to Kevin. And it scares the jeebers out of Kevin. Um, anything else? What else is scary about that movie? There's nothing else that like I find scary about that film because everything else was pretty hysterical. It's just the shovel guy that really creeped me out, but the ending was really cute. But yeah, that's Home Alone. I'm sorry if it dragged. I'm sorry if I'm talking too much, but you know what? It's my podcast. I can do whatever I want. I don't care. But I appreciate you guys listening all the way through. If you got this far and you're still in here, I appreciate it. But we're gonna move on to the next movie, which is actually classified as a horror film to many people, but even though I consider the other two horror films. The next one is Black Christmas. Alright, I'm probably gonna get attacked for this one again, but I didn't watch Black Christmas until last night. I'm gonna get attacked for saying that. But you know what? I'm gonna try to make this podcast as real as it can be, and that's as real as it can be, is me being openly embarrassed and honest about having only watched Black Christmas yesterday. And I'm not talking about the brand new one, 2019. I'm talking about 1974, the first one, or at least I think it's the first one. There might be an earlier one, I'm not sure. But that's the earliest one I could find, and it was available on YouTube. I'm gonna be honest about it. I mean, it's definitely, it became one of my favorites. I did not think it was gonna be a favorite. And when I say did not think it was gonna be my favorite, it's because I was watching the movie and I was very uninterested. I'm like, this is so stupid and boring. I'm like, this is I literally wanted to pause it. I'm like, I'm not watching this anymore. This is so stupid and dumb. But then, being the movie guru I am and having taken so many film classes, I noticed that they use the rule of three many, many, many times. One example is when one of the girls in the sorority is picking up the phone, they say hello 3 times before sound is heard on the other side of the line. That's one example. Another example is that, like, the house mother, or like the house mom of the sorority, she hears a weird sound after drinking 3 different times. Like, the first time she drinks is like from a book. There's like alcohol inside the book. Second time is in the bathroom. She like pulls it out of the freaking toilet part. So disgusting. And then the third part is when she's at her vanity putting makeup on, and she hears meow, which we all know what it was if you guys watched it. But yeah, that's another example. I wrote everything down, but I wrote 3 days down. I don't know what that means. Like, after looking at that now, I don't know why I wrote that. Was the movie in a span of 3 days? I don't think it was. It probably was. The next thing I had for it was, oh, the time when they were like closing the door on those people that were like part of like a search party or something. They attempted to close it 3 different times. Another example. The third trace on the call is what finally got them to trace whoever was calling the girls in the sorority house. That's another one. 3 supposedly dead bodies are left in the house when the police leave. Now this is the part where it got me really interested. It was the last, I believe, 30 minutes of the film, because the film was like an hour and 30 minutes or something. But the last 30 minutes, like, I was like, okay, wait, this is actually really good, because the story started to pick up, everything started to piece together, and I'm glad I didn't pause this, because I literally was gonna pause it and end up doing an episode on how horrible of a movie this was. But I'm glad I went all the way through. But the ending was so good. I want to talk about the last 30 minutes though. The part that like pushed me over the edge is like after that girl had the asthma attack, and then she got stabbed with like the freaking unicorn glass figure. That freaked me out. I'm like, okay, that's really gory, disgusting. And then another person died. It was like another one of the sorority girls. Oh my god. The part, I don't know what her name was, but like the main girl, like I mean I call her the final girl, but she's not the final girl because I think she dies at the end. I'm trying to figure out what her name was. Oh, Jess. Jess. When Jess, I don't even know what the hell I was just talking about. Oh, when Jess sees the two dead bodies of her friends and she's like scared by it, and then she looks at like the corner behind the door, and all you see is this red freaking eye, and it's so creepy. And that one scared the shit out of me, and I'm not just saying that, it scared me to death. I wasn't expecting. I'm like, oh my god, run! I was like, run! I was like screaming at my TV. I can't speak today, but it was so good. The other part that really got me hooked was when the girl realized that the calls were coming from inside the house, and it was just really quiet. I'm like, and I'm like, why are you going upstairs? Why aren't you listening to the police officers and just walking outside the front door? But everything about it was so good. The basement part, like the whole chase when like the person was like chasing her around the house and everything, that one was so good. It was really creepy. The basement, which she killed, her ended up killing her boyfriend. Spoiler alert. Thinking that he was the killer, which I'm like confused by that too because I thought he was too. And you guys might think that her boyfriend was the killer, and I thought he was, but then at the end, obviously, she's goes into shock because she had just murdered her boyfriend, allegedly murdered her boyfriend. But then she's like put in a bed. There's like police all around her. They want to ask her questions, but I believe she's gone under. Like they gave her a sedative or something, and they all leave. Like all of them. No one left to watch her. And then the camera does this really weird pan, like all around the house, like going from the bedroom out, going around the walls. No music, no nothing. And I'm like, something's gonna jump out at me and scare me to death. Something's gonna happen. They kept going into different bedrooms, and it led up to the attic. Went up, went up, went up, and then all you hear are more people. It's the same like whispers, like Peter, like this, or Billy. Excuse me, I said Peter, Billy, like that guy that was whispering all that stuff over the phone. It's still alive. The murderer is still alive, and then it does this pan out of the house, and then the phone starts ringing again. Oh, it was such a good ending. I'm like, oh, wait, every time the phone rings, someone's like been killed. So does that mean that Jess is dead? Oh my god. But yeah, that ending was so good, and I had to like look more into it, and I have to watch the other versions of it because there's so many other versions of it. I don't know if it'll top the ending though because it was good. But yeah, that's the third movie. Black Christmas, definitely a favorite, and I'm gonna definitely look into the others. But I'm gonna go into this fourth one, and this fourth one is very peculiar. You guys probably haven't watched it before. It's not a horror movie per se, but it's labeled as a drama slash horror. But it's very, 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 very good, and I loved every second of it. It's called Spencer. Now, Spencer talks about the life of Princess Diana as she was still married to her husband, Prince Charles. I'm not going to get too much into like the whole synopsis of the story because I definitely want to make my own separate episode on this movie, but I want to talk about what makes it so terrifying. The horror aspect kicks in when you realize that so many of these experiences like she went through, obviously a lot of it is like exaggerated, but at the same time she did suffer a lot. She went through so much. No one liked her, no one appreciated her. She wanted to like go against the rules, but not like in a harmful way. She just wanted to be free. And there's so many like examples of horror in this movie. There's one example where she goes to the home that she used to live to. I was gonna say the house, but the home that she used to live in, and it's very close to the castle, and it's not in the greatest shape. It's very bad. It's broken down a little bit from the inside. Nothing stable. It's very dangerous. Everyone says to like go in there, so they've locked it up. And there's one part in the movie where she ends up going in it, and she falls down a pair of stairs and then wakes up. There's another part where she's sitting at a dinner table, and everything is silent, no dialogue, nothing, and there's this very creepy, ominous music playing as she's looking at everyone. She's wearing a pearl necklace, which, if you don't know the significance of the pearl necklace, you guys can look it up. But she's looking at everyone, she's looking at the queen, she's looking at her husband, and she's just purely terrified. She's very upset, embarrassed, and it's horrific. And then there's all these scenes where she self-harms herself, where she eats and then throws it up. She suffered with a lot of different things, and sadly they just didn't care to like think about how this was affecting her. You know, it's really sad, and I have personally done a lot of research on this, but throughout this film she's just going through an existential crisis, and she's like considering divorce and like leaving the British royal family. But it's definitely very, very good. There's one character in the film that is actually based on a real person. Yep, her name is Anne Boleyn, and she was actually charged with adultery, incest, and conspiracy against the king, which resulted in her beheading. Fun fact, Anne Boleyn's sister, Mary Boleyn, is the 12th great grandmother of Queen Elizabeth II. You heard that correctly. And their incorporation of Anne Boleyn in this movie is kind of terrifying and horrifying, because she arrives out of nowhere. She's seen at the dinner table. She's seen in one of Princess Diana's dreams. It's just really good. And the reason that Anne Boleyn is brought up so much, which I believe, is because Anne Boleyn went against the rules. She went against the king, and that's kind of like what Princess Diana is doing, or what they perceive her as doing. So she feels like her life is in danger. But it's very good. And there's a lot of other horror aspects. There's a part where she's, I mean, I can go on and on and on about it, but it's just the silence in the film and like the emotion that makes it so sad and like depressing as hell to watch. And it's considered a drama slash horror, so you guys can't come after me, because it is considered a drama slash horror. And I think this is my favorite Christmas movie. And the reason I say Christmas horror film is because it takes place around Christmas, because like they're all going back to the castle so that they can spend Christmas with everyone. And like supposedly there's all these rules, like how much weight you're supposed to gain, what you're supposed to wear every single day, who you're supposed to see, what you're supposed to do, what you're supposed to eat, the events you're supposed to have, what time to go to sleep, like all that kind of stuff, like all these rules. And you just get an inside look at how strict really their life was. Princess Diana, I mean. And unfortunately it doesn't end like with anything like about her death, but it does end on like a very mellow note, because she's staring out on the water, and she has like a very slight smile, and then it drops, and then blackout. Masterpiece, 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 but freaking horrific as hell. And it's a very good film, highly recommend it. Kristen Stewart plays Princess Diana, and her own bodyguard, like Princess Diana's actual bodyguard in real life, said that Kristen Stewart was the closest person to ever like get everything correct, because she got all her aneurysms correct, all her accents, how she moves, how she eats, everything he said was perfect. So highly recommend. That is the last of the top horror films around Christmas. Obviously this list is going to change, but yeah. Now I want to go into two horror films, Christmas horror films, that I am dying to watch. They look so, so, so good, and I'm actually very eager. I might watch one of these tonight if I'm being honest, because I watched one of the trailers and I'm like, "Oh, this looks really, really, really good." It's called Violent Night. It was released in 2022. It has really good ratings, and I've watched the trailer and it looks pretty good. It's like a mix of comedy and horror, but it's considered an action film. But it looks really good. Basically, like it's this guy who's like he's the actual Santa, but he like saves a family that's taken hostage, and it's very gory. I've watched the trailer and it was gory, and people say the movie is more gory. So I cannot wait to watch that film. It's actually on Prime Video, so I'm probably gonna watch this tonight, if not sometime this week, because it looks really good, and I'll let you guys know my thoughts on it. Now, the other film that I want to watch that actually a lot of you guys have told me to look into is Silent Night, and it's from 1984, and it's a horror slash crime movie. It's called Silent Night, Deadly Night. It just has really bad reviews, and I'm kind of hesitant to watch it, but I really can't judge a movie based on the reviews. I will give this a try, but I am excited to watch it because you guys say it's really good. You guys say it's a classic. There's so many remakes of this movie. There's also so many parts to this. There's like 6 or 7 or something. My God, they didn't know when to put the pen down, man. I can't with movies overkill like that. But those are the top two that I'm looking at right now. There's obviously so many others. Also, do not recommend Krampus to me. That movie was so freaking stupid. It made no sense to me. I probably have to rewatch it though. I don't know if I can bring myself to rewatch it because it was just so dumb. When I remember watching it, I'm like, this is so dumb. Not scary. This is funny. I don't know. It's probably supposed to be like that. Like I get it, but I don't know, maybe I'll give it another try. But if you guys have any recommendations at all, please drop them in the Q&A below of any Christmas horror films you guys think I should watch, as well as any horror films that you guys really enjoy. Do you guys like Krampus? Do you guys like Spencer if you've watched it? Do you like Black Christmas, any of the remakes? Let me know in the Q&A below, as well as any other recommendations or questions or comments you guys have about this podcast episode. Alright, it's time to unwrap the poll results from the previous episode, which was The Horrors of Traverse City State Asylum. If you guys have not given that episode a listen, I highly recommend checking it out because a lot of you guys listening right now really enjoyed this one, and I enjoyed making it. So I appreciate that you guys like that. But the poll question was, have you visited a mental asylum before? And we got another tie for first place. There's so many ties. It's kind of funny. I'm excited for when I have like probably getting ahead of myself, but when I have like about I don't know 500 listeners and there's a tie, I'm gonna like freak out. I'm gonna be like, come on, you guys, come on. But anyways, the tie for first place was never would and want to. So we kind of have like a little fight there because some people are saying they never would do it, other people are saying they want to do it, which is interesting. Second place was considered it. Third place is yes. Oh my god, I need to talk to you guys that have seen a mental asylum before. Fourth place was tied between 3. It was between many actually, which you're insane if you've gone to many. Oh my god. Going to Traverse City, which that was like a funny little thing because I said the asylum was in Traverse City, so hence why someone voted for it. And the third one was other Q&A. And I actually really enjoyed the Q&A questions and like the responses you guys left. Someone said, I really enjoy these episodes about haunted landscapes. Listen to these as I'm driving to work. Please keep it up. Also, never been to an asylum before, but considering it. Thank you so much, Artemis, for answering. I really appreciate the love. Thank you for listening. I'm just so grateful. Thank you so much. I love doing this. And another person, Abby the Book Lover 1225, said, great episode as always. Thank you so much. And they said horror movies recommendations are The Black Phone and The Haunting in Connecticut 1 and 2 Ghosts of Georgia. I will definitely be looking into those. This is actually the first time someone's recommended The Black Phone to me. Like I've heard of it before, but this is like the first time someone's like, you should watch this movie. So I'll definitely be looking into those. I want to watch all of these. Like I'm on break right now. Whenever I have time, I'm going to be watching all these films. Hence why I just watched Black Christmas. I've been putting it off for so much. I'm like, no, I'm going to sit down and watch this today. Thank you guys for all the Q&A responses as well as participating in the poll. Of course, there is a Q&A below this one as well as a poll, so please, please, please participate in those if you are on Spotify. Reminder that Spotify is totally free. All you need is an email and a password to sign up. You don't have to pay for anything to listen to my podcast or participate in polls and Q&As. So please consider getting Spotify. If not, send me a voice message. That's for every single platform. There's a little thing in the description that says send me a voice message. copy that and send me a little something. And who knows, I might play it on the podcast for you guys. You might hear your guys' voice. So make sure to do all of that, and I'm excited to see what you guys send in. And that is a wrap with a bow on top to episode 18 of the Horror Headquarters. I really hope you guys enjoyed this one. I know it was a little bit different, being that I was talking about a couple different things, but I enjoyed it. I enjoyed talking about it. I know I went on a little bit of a rant with some of these movies compared to others. I apologize, but you know what? I just gonna speak my mind. This podcast is all about me, all about my horror experiences, all about my horror movie recommendations, reviews, haunted landscapes, all that kind of stuff. So anything to do with horror. So yeah. But I really hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you guys so much. I'm gonna keep saying this. I know I say it at the end of like every episode, and I hope I continue to do it. But I really do appreciate your guys' support. I am just so grateful. I love doing this, and like I said, even if it's just for one person listening that's like a real fan out there, thank you. Truly thank you. I'm giving you the biggest hug through the screen. I am so happy right now. I am wearing my favorite shirt in the whole world, the Horror Headquarters t-shirt. I love it. I adore it to death. I'm definitely going to be posting that soon. But you know what? The end of the year is coming, and we've already come so far. And I say we because all of us, we are a family here. We are all part of the Nightlings family. And I'm just so happy. So it's crazy. Make sure to follow us on Twitter at the Horror HQ, as well as on Instagram at the Horror Headquarters. And don't forget to subscribe to our newsletter, which is linked in the description below. There are a couple of you guys that recently signed up, and you guys got a really special email. So if you guys aren't signed up for it, you guys didn't get it. So if you don't want to miss out on these special emails, special sneak peeks, special other thingies, make sure to sign up for it. But until next time, tread very lightly, for it has snowed outside, and pray for forgiveness from Santa Claus. Midnight hour is approaching.